Welcome, everybody. I'm Brian Kaiser, the face of Growth Coaching Systems Network, where we help people live a better life and run a better business. And I welcome you to the 3 Keys to Your Success webinar series. Today, I'm featuring certified business coach Mike Calderwood, and he's going to be going through and doing a little teaching and a little telling about his advantage community and how you can gain an advantage in your business. Mike's a 21-year what we call a serial entrepreneur. He's built more than one business, and he has a lot of experience both on the wins and on the fails, and he's learned a lot in between all of those. So this is going to be a really good session. I really appreciate everybody tuning in, logging on for the webinar. Let me go through the 3 keys, and let me point out something real quickly because I need to clarify with everybody what it is exactly that I do. I am a business coach, and I love business coaching, and I love coaching people, and I've been in the expert space of coaching for 28 years. However, my coaching is to bring people in, and I bring them in through my 3 Keys series. It's usually through the 3 keys for hiring a coach, 3 keys for finding an opportunity, or 3 keys to changing your life. And it's all built around the same fundamentals and the same 3 keys. I just take it in a different direction for each of those categories. But this is a free service that I provide to entrepreneurs, to solopreneurs, to small business owners, to mid-sized business owners, and to corporate executives that are looking for hiring someone that can help them go to the next level, whether that be a coach, a consultant, a mentor, or maybe it's a done-for-you service provider. Maybe in some ways you're needing a therapist or a counselor or a spiritual leader. I've got a system and I've got a network of people that I trust that I can refer people to, and I have affiliates with those people. So that's how this system works. And the 3 keys are very simple. 3 keys are the first one being discovering who you are, where you are, and where you want to go, and being able to define that. Secondly is the research. Research first in your sphere of influence. Are there people that can help you? Are there people that you already know that are in the coaching space, in the personal and professional expert space that can help you? If they're not, let's go beyond that and let's start looking, and I'll start referring and I'll start guiding you through, and we'll find the coach that's right for you. The second key in that is I help you to understand that you're going to choose one coach. You're just going to have one coach, one head coach in a collaborative group, or one head coach that's the coach. You're not going to go hiring a bunch of people. You need to allow the coach that you hire to do their job, and their job is to define what success is to you, and then bring in the pieces and the necessary tools to get you where you need to go. The last piece in that is you have to be able to set your expectations. The coach is not there to set your expectations. They're not there to tell you at the end of this program you're going to be here, here, and here. You're going to be able to do this, that, and another. You will be successful and happy. They can't do that. They don't know what you expect. And oftentimes people hire people and they don't get what they wanted. It wasn't worth their money. They thought it was going to be one thing and it ended up being another. So you have to be able to ask yourself the question at the end of this relationship, and my coach Dennis likes to go with 3 years. At the end of 3 years, what needs to have happened both personally and professionally for this hiring this coach, this person, to significantly impact my life and make positive this relationship, make positive my money, my effort, and my time of going through this exercise and working with this person. What does that need to look like? And a lot of coaches use a 12-month program. They use a six-week program, a 12-week program. But at the end of that session, at the end of that period of time, you need to be able to fast forward a little bit and say, I want this to have happened. I need this specifically to have gone right so that this relationship, my money, my time, and my effort was spent well, and it was progressed my life. On the flip side of that, You have to allow the coach to say, yes, I can meet your expectations, or no, I can't, and I need to send you back over to Brian because I think maybe expectations changed a little bit and we need to do something different. So those are your 3 keys. I hope you understand that I do this because I really want to help people live a better life and run a better business. And I don't want people hiring coaches, mentors, consultants, done-for-you service providers that are not going to give them their best next step. So with all that said, and it was a little lengthy, but I wanted to clarify, I'm going to bring on the featured guest, the person that everyone's been waiting for, Mr. Mike Calderwood. And we did his intro on Facebook. I hope everyone enjoyed it because I want to rock. And we're bringing the guy on right now. Mike, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Brian. Thanks for having me on. You're about the only guy that can get me to wear a jacket, so I'm here.
Well, you know, that's nice. You're looking spiffy too. You know, you and I, we know each other and we collaborate quite a bit.
Yeah.
For the people out there and everybody that I bring on the webinar series, the first question I always like to get them to answer and kind of break down barriers, and let's put business aside for just a minute, is tell us who Mike Calderwood is. Not just the businessman, not the guy that's got these great programs and all the podcast and all that. Who's Mike Calderwood, the man?
Sure. So the man, Mike Calderwood, is really a God-loving, high-energy guy who loves, unconditionally loves his amazing wife and children, and aspires to help anybody that comes into his world leave his world feeling just a little bit better than they did before, even if it's not business related. I'm the guy that makes everybody in the elevator smile. I'm the guy that brings a smile to the face of the lady in the grocery store when she's having a bad day. That's why I'm here. That's why God made me, and that's what I love to do. But getting there was always it was a journey, right? Before, and I'll stick to the man here, but growing up, becoming the man, it was an interesting thing because I grew up very blue collar. I grew up very conformist, right? You conform, you do what everybody else is doing, and everything's going to be okay. And I was a dreamer. I was always a dreamer. I wanted more for myself. I wanted to be a rock star. That's where all the songs come from on Facebook before I go on the air each week with my radio podcast, right? And so I wanted to be a rock star, but I was drilled and drilled and drilled by authorities to think realistically, right? You ever go to career day at a high school, you know, it doesn't have rock star up there as a choice. It doesn't even have pro athlete as a choice, right? Broadcasting, doctor, lawyer, nurse, mechanic, right? All the regular stuff. And it kind of squashes your big dream thinking, right? And it kind of knocks you down a peg. And so that's kind of who I was growing up. I wanted to be this rock star. I was kind of knocked down a peg. So I was looked at very much as a rebel, right? And I was. I brought a lot of trouble into my household growing up. It took me some years to really grow up. And then I think through the years of building businesses, being an entrepreneur, and then most importantly, being married and having a couple amazing kids, have been what's really shaped me into discovering the man that I am and bringing that energy and finding my purpose and, being able to impact the people around me.
Nice. Great story. And I know your wife and family, so it's really awesome that you share with everyone that. And on your journey, you've built several businesses in several different types of industries, and you've gotten certified as a coach with IPEC and with the Able Institute, and you've developed now what you are teaching and helping people with is how to gain an advantage in your business. And you have the Advantage community. Can you just go through the steps of how you derive that from your experiences and what the community is?
Sure. So the community is I think I froze again here on the video, and I do apologize. Shall I keep talking?
Yes. I think you're back now.
Okay, excellent. So the community is based on like-minded business owners being able to come to one place to be able to get the information that they need. to move their businesses forward, to succeed on multiple levels, regardless of what it is. So it's really geared towards small business owners, home-based business owners, solopreneurs. It's geared towards network marketers, direct sales pros. A solopreneur to me is any skilled expert that is trying to bring their expertise to the business world. Okay, so it could be a massage therapist, it could be a chiropractor, it could be a personal trainer, or it could be a plumber or something like that. These are all solopreneurs, these are all home-based businesses. And each of them have some specific skill sets that they need to really be able to hone in on to survive. So for me, anybody who depends on relationship marketing, which is meeting people, helping people understand who they are and what they do, moving those into prospecting, into sales, and making money, and eventually getting referrals and things like that. If you depend on relationship marketing, I can help you.
Excellent. Now, you bring people into your funnel, and I know that you like the network because I refer a number of people to you. What is the top of that funnel? What does that look like? And I guess that's the community piece. And you have some things in the community that are real important for people to understand. It's not just the normal Facebook page or Google Hangout page or anything like that. There's actual things that you're putting out in there that helps people to grow and develop their business.
Yeah, so if you go over to MikeCalderwood.net and you click on the registration button, you can register for free. And what it does, it brings in all my complimentary resources into one place for you. You can go into the back and log in. And what it does, it has a monthly basic training call that you can plug into, which may be going to twice a month, which I'm pretty excited about. We'll see. And it has all my podcast feeds, my newsletters, all that kind of stuff. There's even some tools, downloadable tools you can do for productivity, things like that, that are there. And then it is a Facebook group as well that you get access to. The Facebook group isn't there for you to promote and do that kind of stuff, but it's there as a sounding board to get feedback from your peers and other experts. So if you have a marketing campaign or if you have a 30-second pitch you want to try out and get some feedback on, you can put it on the community page, the Advantage community page on Facebook, and ask for feedback, and people will give you feedback. So that's the top level of the funnel, is all those complimentary services that you can plug into to stay engaged and have ongoing basic training.
Gotcha. Now, they get into the community, you get the free portions of the trainings, the call, and then you have two other layers that you take people through when they engage with you. So the free training is nice, and that's all complimentary, and you're putting out a lot of valuable information there. So exponential value at the top of that. And then when you move into your Advantage Club, what does that look like?
Excellent. So the Advantage Club is more structured workshops around sales, marketing, networking, prospecting, business mindset, limiting beliefs, creating business harmony, different things like that, where we help you build a foundation for success. Once the foundation is built, we help you erect the pillars, if you will, that will be the structure of your business, and then put all the building blocks into place. What that looks like is you can go in and you can plug into any of these workshops for the cost of the workshop, or you can pay a one-time fee, and every time we do a workshop, you're already in. Okay, it's a membership base, so it's really kind of cool. To give you an idea of what some of those workshops are, is, for example, the foundational piece is 10 foundational principles that have been around for a long time. Okay, they're foundational. They are not new. If they're new principles, run. Okay, if anybody offers you a new set of principles, run the other way. Okay, because the principles of success have not changed. Okay, how we word them might have changed over the years, but the principles themselves have. So in the foundation, I give you 10 solid principles to build the foundation of your business on. Okay, which includes not just business stuff, but things like life balance and finding your purpose and things like that. Then I give you the 6 P's of success, which are the pillars that are really going to stand upright and add the structure for your business. Okay, and then we start working on the building blocks, which are your own personal development, your sales, your marketing, your networking, your message, getting all those things clear. But here's the thing. A lot of people jump into calling a coach because they need help with sales or they need help with marketing. And you could ask a lot of these people, okay, Bob, what have you done in the past? Well, I've gone to the weekend seminars and I've hired other coaches and blah, blah. Well, why do you think those haven't worked? And really, their challenge right now isn't that they need more sales help. Their challenge is something else. It's either internal, where they need a mindset shift, has nothing to do with their sales skill set. Maybe they're not in alignment with their passion. Maybe their foundation's broken. It could be any one of these things. So we're going to help you do that. And then the third layer that you were talking about is the VIP one-on-one coaching, where you can supplement the workshops of the club and all that stuff with professional, expert application and advisory by sitting down one-on-one with me, either through Skype if you're not local, or local here in a coffee shop if you're in the Houston, Katy area.
Gotcha. Now, you've been, like I mentioned in the beginning, you've been being in the entrepreneurial space for 21 years, building businesses in different arenas, and you've, on your journey, come to the Advantage program that you've developed, and you've really honed in on your market. You've really identified the target there, the problem we're solving, what you do best, all of that stuff. What was that journey like for you? What businesses kind of led up to you finally coming to, this is what I need to do and this is who I am?
So what was the journey like for me? The journey was sometimes painful, often thrilling, frustrating, scary, fun. It was an emotional roller coaster, right? But whose isn't? Okay, and that's what part of the journey is all about. So honestly, Brian, I could sit down with you and show you exactly how to screw up a business. I could show you all the pitfalls. I could show you how to dive right into them. I can show you how to resist. I could show you how to resist success, even when there's people that are successful trying to help you. I could show you all those things because I've done them over and over again. And it took me the right coach and the right program to gain an advantage. I love sports. I like sports. So I'm going to use an analogy here real quick. In hockey, which there's one of the most ultimate advantages in sports comes in hockey, and it's called the power play, right? Where you are playing 5-on-5 hockey, and you're trying to get the other team to get a penalty, where you go in, if you get a penalty, you go into the box of shame for 2 or 5 minutes, depending on what the penalty is, right? And your team now has an advantage because they're short a guy, okay? And that's how I went through business. I went through business always looking to gain some kind of advantage, some kind of edge. Nothing illegal, nothing immoral, and nothing unethical, right? How could I gain an advantage? How could I gain an edge? And I was always looking for that in sales, marketing, things like that. But what I started to realize over the years is I needed to develop me as a business owner. My business was only going to grow in accordance to my personal growth, right? So my advantage came when I found Ed Abel and the Abel Business Institute, and I found the Creating Business Harmony program, which was the perfect program and the perfect coach to help me understand where my gaps were, what was working well, what wasn't, and where I needed to mature as a business owner. That was an awful long answer. I think I answered your question in there.
Oh, definitely got the answer. And I want to point out, because I teach this in the 3 Keys seminar, and this is the 3 Keys to Your Success webinar series, and in anyone that's been following this series and the numbers of coaches that I've brought on and leading up to Mike coming on here, is there's a commonality of of all the coaches that I've allowed to come on the series is that they truly believe that there's a right coach for the right client, and there's a right client for the right coach. And when I talk to people and teach people about hire one coach, and you just reaffirmed that huge, as you know, on your journey you were always looking for the edge until you found that one coach, and then you followed his guidance. You've let him be the coach, you've let him be the leader, you've let him do his job, and that's what's ultimately made the advantage in your business. And that's what you're trying to do for other folks, is be that coach if it's the right fit. And I guess that kind of explains why you have such a large community piece at the top of your funnel, because you can help a lot of people with your message, but you want to have those people understand, if you're the right person and you resonate with me and my character and my personality and the message I put out, then take it to the next step. And if that works for you, then take it to the step, the ultimate VIP step, so that we can actually get really, really deep into growing your business together. And I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to waste your money, but I do want you to know exactly who I am. And does that kind of sum up the funnel there?
A little bit, yeah. So, think about this. If you've ever known anybody that smoked, right, and they wanted to quit, maybe they spent 5, 7, 9 years struggling, fighting to quit, right? So they've tried everything from the patch to the drug to the shot to the hypnotherapy to all these different things. And then finally, 7, 8, 9 years later, they're like, nothing works. None of this works. But then a product comes and they try it and they successfully quit smoking. The question you got to ask yourself is, was it the product, or were they finally ready to quit smoking? And if they were really ready, any one of those products would have worked. So for me, I look at Ed Abel and I go, he was the right coach for me at the right time, and I said that up front. He may not have been the right coach 6 months earlier or a year earlier, right? So I was ready for the growth at that point. And I tell you that way for a reason. When you had said, not every coach is right for every person. And I could kind of draw a line and put most coaches on one side and all the other coaches on the other. And that is, there are coaches who work very well with people that aren't ready to really move yet. They've got to overcome their own excuses, their own victim mentality, and all these other things. I'm not that coach. I need people that are on the other side of the line that are ready to make the move to success, but they're just not sure what that move is. They may be apprehensive, they may have fear, they may have a few excuses, and that's okay. But if you're fully stuck, I'm probably not the right coach, right? And most coaches will tell you they're on one side or the other of that line. So when somebody comes into your world, you said in your 3 keys, right, that you've got to begin, kind of like Stephen Covey says, begin with the end in mind, right? Your third key is to set those expectations. Well, coming into a coaching relationship, the first key of your 3 keys is key, right? It's the biggest key. It's the discovery, because I need to know where you're at. Yeah. Because if you're fully stuck in the mud, I'm not the guy to pull you out. Right. But if you've been in the mud and you're brushing yourself off and you got your chin up and you're ready to get going again, then I'm the guy to help you out.
Exactly. That's an amazing point, because that seems to be the most powerful part of the 3 keys program that I put together, is helping people understand what you just explained, and understanding that they may know, or they may have seen, floating around the internet, this coach, that coach, and we can name off some big names, Frank Kern, Ryan Dice, Brendan Bouchard, Michelle Sissom. We got all these people floating around the internet. And then they look and they see the Mike Calderwood's here, he's at the same level and all this, and they're still haven't mentally prepared themselves for coaching, and they're not mentally ready to do the work and run all those miles. When they sit down and I find out, and through that discovery piece, who they are and where they are, and they're really, over a period of the session and over a period of questions that I go through, find out and unlock and tear down some walls to open up the universe, their universe, and say, okay, maybe you need a therapist, maybe you need a counselor, maybe you need a spiritual advisor, maybe you need these pieces in your life before we go jumping in to a coaching program, because the mindset's not there, the willingness to be coached isn't there, and the ability to take in the information and the energy to run the miles is not going to be there, because they're holding on to something that they're not ready to let go of yet.
Right.
Is that pretty much that part of the keys?
I'm listening to Ray Higdon's podcast yesterday, and he was asked a question of, how do I find my vision? How do I create my vision? Okay? And he kind of laughed it off a little bit. But I think a lot of people think, how do I create my vision for my business? All I hear about is you got to have a vision. You got to have a vision.
Right.
So he quoted, I'm going to quote him, but he quoted somebody else, and I think the quote actually even came from somebody else. But I'll give Ray credit, and then maybe somebody someday will give me credit for this quote too. So we'll go through the right? But he basically said, pain will push you, and your vision will pull you, right? And pulling is always less energy and easier than pushing. So I meet a lot of people that, why do you want to coach? Well, I need to overcome some things. I need to push through. I need to get better at certain things. And where I believe that quote is kind of broken is, well, if that's the case and you need to be pushed through, well, then you don't have a vision. And the vision can pull you. And people will look at that and go, okay, well, how do I create a vision? Well, right. I think that's a broken formula. I think what you've got to do is you got to go back to your purpose.
Right.
When you can align your purpose along with who you are, your very first question to me today was, who are you?
Exactly.
I said, I'm a God-loving family, right? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say it again. I'll spare the listeners. But when you can align who you are with a deeper purpose with what you do, your vision will come to you. So if you're unable, if you've been pushing through and pushing through and pushing through without a vision, you may need to go back and figure out your purpose. You may need to go back and do some figuring out of who you are, what your purpose is, and see if that's aligned with what you do to get the energy right in alignment so that your vision can be fulfilled and then your journey becomes easier.
Well stated. And, like I said, that discovery process, I have coaches in the network that work on that type of issues, those type of problems, that help people get through that. And then when they're ready to get to the Mike Calderwood programs and those other coaching programs, then those coaches know to turn them over, because they, everyone in the network, like yourself, likes to do what they do best, and they don't want to get outside of what they do best, because number one, it drains their energy and takes up a lot of their time, and they don't do the best job at it. So they like to stick with those things. So the problems in finding a coach and knowing which coach to find seem to be the hardest piece for the small business owner and the mid-size and even the corporate guys that are looking to, they're burnt out in the corporate world. And they're looking for, okay, I love doing this, but now I'm managing people, and I never wanted to do that, and I want to get back to doing what I love, and I'd like to build a business doing that, but I don't know how. And so, that's the purpose of these webinars, to introduce people like yourself that can start helping these people when they're at the point and ready to be coached. And for you, you like a specific group of people to work with in particularly. And just for the final question, how did you narrow down to that group?
So a couple things. So first of all, I listened to the feedback of the people that I was working with. of where my strengths and weaknesses were, what was effective for them and what wasn't. You know me, Brian. When I first started with the Creating Business Harmony program, I was overly generalist, right? And I needed to stop and look at where my expertise really lied. And my expertise lied in sales, marketing, message, relationship building, relationship marketing, networking, those types of things. Client acquisition cycle for the small business owner, right? And what I was trying to do was teach people about their business finances and their internal operations and all this other stuff, right? Where my true passion lied in the sales, the team building, that type of stuff, okay? So that was what became apparent to me. The other way I figured that out was this really sharp guy I know, his name's Brian Kaiser, I don't know if you've heard of him, started this program called the 3 Ps. One person, one problem worth solving, and one product. And I went, man, I got to narrow again. I got to really start focusing in and honing in on what I'm doing. And here's why. And I want to go back to what you were saying before that question, okay? First of all, I love what you're doing because you're giving people a connective way of not going through a trial and error process with coaches, okay, which is beautiful, and it's saving them time, money, and frustration. And really, if you look at that, it's really giving them a head start because you're starting with the right coach right off the bat in most cases, okay? Is it a perfect formula? No, but in most cases it's going to work, right? So going back to all that, right now, coaches are a dime a dozen. They're a dime a dozen. Ian, I'll tell you what, good ones are hard to find. They just are. One or two things are happening. We have a ton of self-proclaimed coaches out there who are basically out of work, done some consulting in the past, and they're going to get into the coaching space because it's hot. Well, they're not coaches. The other thing that happens is people go and get a coaching certification like I did, or go through a full coaching program like I did, or a weekend certification like some people do, which is all fine, but they have no experience, right? And they go, well, I'm going to be a life coach, or I'm going to be a business coach, or this week I'm going to be the performance coach, or next week I'm going to be the find your passion coach, right? And they really actually don't have any skill set, background, or experience in that, right? So what you've done is you've surrounded yourself with proven experts who aren't fly-by-night coaches, who aren't those dime a dozen guys, and you've helped to clarify what they do and who the right client is, so when people come to you, you can point them. It's really a beautiful system.
Well, thank you. Hey, you know, it comes from the 28 years spent in the expert space as a professional coach. You know, it truly does. You know, athletes would come into the gym and they would tell me that they wanted to go to the Olympic Games, and I would say, okay, why do you want to go to the Olympic Games? And oftentimes I would get the response, you know, I saw the pictures from the last Olympics, and that was like really, really cool, and like looked like they were having a lot of fun, so I want to be there. And the problem with that is those people that get there, especially in the sports, you know, that was most prominent in my past, in my coaching field, men's gymnastics and women's gymnastics, there's only 6 people that make a team and 5 people that make a team respectively. And to narrow down of the thousands of people that are competing for those 5 or 6 spots, those athletes, like many business owners and entrepreneurs, give up a space of time to focus and hone in on building themselves and building their skills and training and practicing and building their, in our world of business now, building their list, building their products, building their model out, building the processes behind it. So now you have something. And I felt when I came into this space, I tried several things when I first came into the space, just like you know, I floated a lot of things out there before Dennis, you know, grabbed me and said, you know, you really need to just do what you really like to do best and what you're best at doing, and that is helping people find where to go. Because you like new shiny things, your opportunist DNA is much higher than your builder DNA, and you really need to hone in on how you can help people find that. And I met good people like yourself, Dennis, Michelle Sism, Tony Gambone, all these people that do these things. The Jenna Rodriguez's that have these niche markets that I could refer people to. And I really want to stress one more time in the webinar here, I provide this service for the clients for free. And I'm not going to make any hidden or qualms about it. I have affiliate links and referral fees from the coaches, and that's how I make a living, and that's how this works. But the session for the client is truly to help them. If you come and and I can't place you with a coach, there's nothing to pay me for that. You don't owe me anything. I'll do my best, but some people, like you said, there's some people that aren't ready for a coach, and the good thing is that my network is pretty broad, so I have people that if you're not ready for a coach yet, I have people that can help you get to a coach. So, Mike, this has been a great webinar. I really have looked forward to this like for the last 2 weeks.
How are we doing on time? We okay?
We are doing great on time. We have about 10 minutes left if we want to use them.
So let me. You're talking about the athletes and how only a few are ever going to make that team, and if you're not willing to put the work in, you really don't have a shot, right? And so one of the things about gaining an advantage in business and life, okay, is the ADVANTAGE acronym, which stands for attitude, right? Having the right mindset to take the steps that need to be taken, okay? Discipline, as in self-discipline. Brian Tracy teaches us that self-discipline is doing what you know you need to do when you need to do it, regardless of how you feel. Nice. And when I look at discipline, I say you need to be disciplined to do the things that your business requires you to do to make money and serve others. And if you're not willing to do those things, then you're doing a disservice as a business owner. V is vision. And it's really understanding how to align your purpose with your who and bring that to what you're doing. It's not necessarily about what you do. Okay, so that's your vision. The next is action. It's implementing all your plans. It's taking action. N is building a network of resources around you. T is building a team out of that network of resources that can help you move your business forward. I lost my place. ADVANTNT. A is accountability, which all of us need. Definitely. Okay. And then the last two are about growth and enjoyment, and enjoying life and growing in all areas, not just those specific areas that'll move your business forward. And the enjoyment side really also entails living a balanced life and making sure that you're not being run by your business, but you running it, and you building a business that can, if you desire, that will be independent of yourself and sustainable, so that you can do the things with your time that you want to do, that you enjoy doing.
I love the acronym, and I like your program, and I like the biggest part is that there's a huge resource or wealth of information that you put out on a monthly basis to just help people. There's just a ton of value in the community, and I really want to encourage everyone to take a minute. I've popped it up over on the side of the webinar here, and the offer is right there on the side, and it's just very simple. Join the ADVANTAGE community. There's not a cost to join the community. What you're going to get is exceptional value and great benefit from being a part of what Mike's put together. And also, he's got great people in that community, which you can also bounce ideas off of, like he mentioned to you. So, Mike, I really want to appreciate, and show my appreciation and tell everyone how much I appreciate you coming on the webinar and sharing your story with us and sharing how you came to have this ADVANTAGE community and the ADVANTAGE program and what it stands for beyond just a business entity for you. It's actually who you are and what you do, as you stated. So I really appreciate you coming on, and I hope everyone will take advantage. Go right now, sign up for the Advantage community, and start getting the value from that. And as you learn more about Mike, you'll probably want to move through his funnel and get some of his other trainings he mentioned. So.
Brian, Jaleel, who had to actually get off the webinar, asked a question in the sidebar, and
Excellent.
I'd like to address that question. So if he goes back and listens to the recording, he can get the answer. And I'm sure some other people have run into this as well. Jaleel asked, "What happens when it seems that coaches do a free consultation and they only tell you that it seems like you have everything together? I surveyed other people I know, and they said that the coach I was interviewing felt they couldn't control me. Have you encountered a situation like this before?" So I think what he's saying here is that the coach didn't feel as if they could help him. Is that what you're receiving from that?
Yeah, that's kind of what I derived from
Okay.
that. And for whatever reason, I'm not able to see that in the chat box. I don't know why.
Okay.
Oh, I got it right here. Yes.
Okay. So let me address that real quick, Jaleel. So first thing is, and I'm going to put a little bit on you here, and it's not to beat you up or pick on you at all. First of all, you've got to be coachable, okay, for a coach to be able to help you. And you've got to be open and honest and transparent. And that's where most coaches and clients have a disconnect, is a coach cannot help a client who is not being fully transparent with them in all areas of need. So what I would say to your specific situation is, it was probably the wrong coach at the wrong time for your situation. I also talked about coaches being a dime a dozen. I don't know this coach. I don't know what their skill set is. But here's what I would recommend doing. I would recommend getting with Brian and going through the 3 keys process and allowing Brian to help you identify the right coach for your specific need. You mentioned in your question that the coach said it seems like you have it all together. Nobody has it all together, and that's not in need of a coach of some kind. Even great coaches have coaches, as our good friend Dennis Magoo taught us. So I would recommend getting with Brian to see if he's got a coach under his umbrella that can help you move to where you want to go. But you have to come with transparency, clarity, and expectations.
Exactly. And you know, Mike, right under his question, he made another comment, and I want to get your feedback on it as well. He says it seems like almost everyone's a coach, and you pointed out some things about that. And he wanted to know, are there any certifications or key indicators that he should look for when he starts looking for a coach? And if he goes if we sat down, if he and I sat down, and we went through the network of people that I recommend, he would find out that every one of those coaches that I recommend in the network has some certification. They follow some program, some platform that is greater than themselves. And what they would also find out is every one of those coaches in the network has run a lot of miles in business, and they've failed. They've failed miserably, some of them. They've failed more than one time. They've been successful to a point, and then they failed, and then they got back up, and they're building again on their successes that they had in the final run. And there's no one in business that hasn't failed. Even if you look at the Donald Trumps and the Bill Gates and look at Steve Jobs. I mean, the guy passed away, and he had failed more times than he had succeeded, but yet his biggest success lives on today. But when you start looking at coaches, you made a really, really valid point. There are some certifications and some key indicators, and the certifications are nice, but the certification doesn't outweigh those key indicators of how many times have they been in business? How many times have they succeeded? How many times have they failed? How did they recover? How did they move forward? and how are they using that experience to teach others, and not just go from the book of somebody to do what they do.
So here's a great way of looking at this, Jaleel, and anybody else out there who's had a bad experience with a coach or is avoiding coaching only because they get inundated with 1,000 offers a week at networking events and everything else, and you know that it's just going to turn into a sales pitch and all that good stuff. Look at it this way. If you had an internal pain that was ailing you, it wasn't so bad that you're going to go to the emergency room, but you feel like you probably better get it checked out sometime soon. You wouldn't just start calling like a gastroenterologist or an oncologist or a proctologist, or you wouldn't do that. You would go to your primary care physician and you would get a checkup, and then based on your symptoms and needs, that doctor would have pre-qualified some people for you to see, right? And you would go see them based on your doctor's recommendation. So if you're a business owner out there and you've looked at coaches and it's not worked out, or you've avoided coaching because you are inundated and you know that coaches are a dime a dozen, let Brian be your primary care physician. Let Brian be the one that sits down, does your pulse check, does your blood pressure check, does all the symptomatic approaches to find out what's working well for you and what's not, and then direct you to the specialist that's going to most be in your best interest at this point in your journey.
Excellently said. Excellently said. I appreciate everyone tuning in for the webinar today. It's been my pleasure and my honor to have my good friend Mike Calderwood featured on this series of the 3 keys to your success. And Mike, once again, I appreciate you coming on. I look forward to many years of doing things and collaborating together as we go through this journey of helping people to live a better life and run a better business. In closing, is there anything you'd like to leave the audience with?
Yeah, like I said, every great coach, every great business person surrounds themselves with mentors, coaches, and other people that can help them. Get with Brian, figure that out. Hop over to MikeCalderwood.net, learn about what I'm doing. If you resonate with me, great. Sign up for my complimentary stuff. If you don't, that's okay. Find the coach that you best resonate with and look for that, and fuel your passion, and never stop dreaming. Dream big and go after what it is that you're after right now, and go get it and make it happen.
Well stated, Mike. Thank you for coming on. I'm Brian Kaiser. I live boldly with purpose and gratitude by serving others fearlessly. I am the face of Growth Coaching Systems Network, where I help people live a better life and run a better business, and I appreciate you for tuning into the webinar and look forward to serving you soon.